Hi and welcome to this edition of Out of the Box. My name's Paul. Today we're going to have a look at what's in this box. Let me just grab this from behind you. The big W here should be the giveaway. This is a WatchGuard appliance. It is the WatchGuard T80. Now this is not meant to be a technical overview, although I will help you with some of the specs and what I think this works well for. So let's just get into this and have a look at what's in the box. So you're going to get your Get Started guide. WatchGuard can be configured using a web browser interface or its own Windows native app. The native app gives you ability to store and make changes to the config before you upload it to the unit. So it's actually quite a good application to get used to using. You're going to get an Ethernet cable 1.5 meters to 2 meters in length. You will get your power cable for your region. This is an IEC connector, so a kettle lead connector. And we've got the Australian power plug on the end of it because that's where we are. You're going to get the power pack. Let me just lift this out of the box here. Flat unit like this, obviously that's where the IEC connector goes in. You've got some sort of DIN connector at this end here. Does clip in quite well. Obviously this is a desktop unit, you may decide to put this in a rack. We do some great aftermarket rack mount kits from rackmount.it. You can find them on our website. Those allow you to connect all of this up, put the power pack in, bring all the power cables to the front. But if you're mounting this in a rack or on a shelf, do make sure that that power connector is plugged in well, because obviously as you move the unit backwards and forwards, because you want all the light indicators at the front, but actually the connectors are at the back, the Ethernet connectors. So as you bring it forward, make sure that power cable doesn't get snagged. Obviously your firewall will turn off while you're doing it. So I'm just going to reach in the box here and grab out the firewall itself. The T80 currently is the top of the range desktop model. Let me just lift that up to you so you can see that. That's the front. Just going to go through your indicators there. You've obviously got a failover option. You can run this as a failover pair. You have then got all of your indicators for your 2, 4, 6, 8 Ethernet ports here. So that's going to show you along there the state 100 meg or a gig. Let me just bring that forward so you can see it. You have then showing whether it's active and the current status is lights along here. Now, as I mentioned, this is a desktop unit, so it can be mounted just on the top of something on a shelf in a rack. Or you can get an aftermarket rack mount kit. So here we go on the back. We've got an expansion slot here. You can get a number of extra Ethernet ports in here. Slightly shame on this type of unit compared with some of the competitors that we don't have an SFP port of some point. There are some quite good SFP VDSL modems now, which would have been great to be able to put in there. But you do get an expansion slot, which maybe gives you some of those features. You have your console port here. Then we move into 2 USB ports. You can use a USB 3G, 4G, 5G dongle, although the chipset is fairly restrictive. My suggestion would be that you actually use one of these ports in here to configure it as a WAN port and use a 4G or 5G router and actually do load balancing or SD-WAN. It's a better way of probably doing it. You're going to get your 8 1 gig Ethernet ports, and on the T80 here you get 2 PoE ports. So a great unit if you're actually looking to power maybe some access points or a VoIP phone or something like that, that can all be done in one. And we've got your reset switch here. This is not a factory reset switch, this is to reboot the hardware. There are ways of getting a full factory reset. You need to just follow the manufacturer's instructions on their website. You've got your power here, and you've got your your on-off switch here, and you've got your power. Obviously this is a desktop unit, so you will find that cooling comes from the side. So if you do decide to rack mount it, make sure you've got some good airflow. So where would I position this, the T80? So we test all of these. We have a uncontended 1 gig dedicated pulled fiber connection here, and obviously all of the config that you do on this will depend on the speed. If you're doing HTTPS inspection, which you should be, then that's going to hit the CPU fairly hard on these units. So when we actually do a speed test, we can get close to about 500 megabits a second through this unit with the security services running and HTTPS running. That's a little bit lower than the published figures, but that's due to the way that the internet is used, and published figures are all about certain packet sizes and everything. So if you're looking for something that's going to sit on a 400 meg TPG fiber or something like that, this is a great starting unit. You need to move up into the rack mounts if you want full 1 gigs, but the T80, fantastically priced. Obviously do note there's 2 options. You've got the total security package and the basic security. Basic security has your firmware, your warranty, your application control, your content filtering, intrusion prevention. Total security is going to add in there what we call zero-day threats, so that's ransomware protection. It gives you DNS protection. It gives you an endpoint that you can install on your computers that will protect for ransomware and give you some rollback features and some malware and spyware protections. Worthwhile looking at the total security suite as well. So hopefully that's been useful. That is the WatchGuard T80.